Final Destination was insanely funny, but also kind of an art house film.
And that's life?
No. Turn the key, see what happened.
What's up, guys? We just saw The Monkey, and boy, do we want to talk about it. Oh my god, what a film.
Definitely a film indeed. Man, I mean, I think, reacted so viscerally to it while we were watching. I want you to start off.
This movie, I had high expectations going into it. I am a big fan of Oz Perkins.
They've been deworming orphans in Somalia.
And all the directorial work he's done. Longlegs was a cultural phenomenon last year. I think it penetrated the zeitgeist in ways that a lot of other movies of that same genre have not been able to do. And his name has really leaped forward on my list of directors to keep an eye on. And this film just puts an emphasis on that evaluation.
It really does, because we had expectations going into it that were high because of Longlegs, and it still somehow smashed every single one of them.
This movie is so tonally different, visually different, acting-wise, writing-wise. It is a completely different film than Longlegs, and that's what I loved most about it. It keeps Oz Perkins still his creative sense of humor and also his sense of insane visuals, and ramps that up to like 1,000.
Really, because what's crazy is the only thing this has in common with Longlegs is that they're both horror films, and that's literally where those come to a grinding halt.
But what's most impressive about his directorial style is, even though this film is hyper violent and it is pitch black comedy in terms of its sense of humor, it doesn't get in the way of telling a really moving story with a very impactful message at the heart of it.
No, I completely agree. And I think that's what's so interesting about this film is the tone of it. We talked about that pretty thoroughly after, because it's so incredibly unique, not just to horror films, but to film in general. The way that it juggles that black humor, but also has some genuinely sincere emotional beats, but it never feels out of place. And the humor just escalates and escalates the whole time.
And you are sitting in the theater uncomfortable because you're laughing at these insanely dark moments, but he keeps you on the edge of your seat by constantly changing the rhythm of the film in and of itself. Like, normal horror movies have rhythm, right? You can kind of sense when something's about to happen. Like any film, you can kind of sense when the beats are going to kick in. Like, oh, it's been this X amount of time, we need an action sequence.
Yeah.
It's been X amount of time, we need a kill. Or, oh, I know that the music's playing, something's about to happen. And they play with that in such funny and unique ways in this movie. And again, it just really goes to show you how much of a commanding presence Oz Perkins has behind the lens. He's so damn good.
He's so good, and there's so much intentionality with it, too, because, like we said, it is a morbidly darkly humorous film. And once you get into it, after just a few minutes, you understand what he is going for. But he's also still very inventive with a lot of the tropes that he plays with horror films, and you can tell what he's doing to make fun of them.
But at the heart of this film is still a story, a really beautiful story about death and about familial trauma, generational trauma. And what guides that aspect of the story is a really strong performance from Theo James. Really impressed by him lately.
Yeah.
All I really knew him from early on in my teens and early 20s was obviously the Divergent movies. It was Hollywood's next cute boy in these coming-of-age stories. And to see him give performances like he's been giving in the past couple of years, whether it's on White Lotus, whether it's in playing Bastion on X-Men 97, where he was fantastic, and now doing something like this, where he gives not only one great performance, but two fantastic performances in one film.
Not just two performances, two vastly different ones.
Yes.
Just the range that he has to display in this movie and be insanely convincing. I don't want to say too much about them.
We can't really say too much about it. But just know that he is definitely a student of the craft, and he puts a lot of effort into crafting these two characters that he plays very differently. And I'm becoming a big Theo James fanboy, I think. I'm really loving what he's doing at this point in his career. But beyond that, this film has such an insane supporting cast. And when I say insane, I mean not only in talent, but also insane as in character.
Yeah, just the roles that everyone is given, which again, we want to talk about so badly, but you need to go in blind.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about what these characters are or who they are, because you really do need to experience this for yourself.
But I was gonna say, we need to give hats off to Tatiana Maslany.
Oh, so wonderful. She's never been bad in anything. I don't think I've ever seen anything that she's done where she was not firing on all cylinders. And this is no different. She comes into this movie delivering a very pivotal role for this film and still being able to make it so unique, but yet so her own. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate that. I love that she could just come in and bang out such a fantastic performance. I'm a huge fan.
Because I think it's fair to say, to an extent, that she really is the emotional core of the movie.
Yeah.
And what she has to do with such an insane and wacky, tonally all over the place movie is she has to go along with all that. But whenever the more emotional beats happen, you also need to feel something for her. And you really do.
And then you have like supporting players in here, like Elijah Wood and Sarah Levy, who is... you can't say anything, but I really love the cast, and I really love the characters that Oz is putting in this film. Oz even has a little role himself in here. Beyond tone, beyond acting, one thing that this film has that's another huge strength for it is the themes that Oz chooses to dissect in this film. And he does it in such a way that is unique to other movies that we have seen, some within the past month, that also choose to tackle these same themes, which is really weird. Beyond just that, the theme of death, I love the way he tackles death in this movie. Mm-hmm. Death has been tackled in cinema probably since the inception of movies.
Right.
But this movie takes it, and it really shows, it not only does it hit the beats that we expect it to hit, whereas, death is natural, death is a part of life, death is inevitable, we all die. But it takes that, and then it also gives you a serving of, yeah, but it's up.
Yeah.
Death is really up, and could be really traumatizing for people. And he kind of pushes that button for a large part of the movie too, which I really loved it for doing.
And I think that's what is so interesting and so impressive about the way that he approaches it in the movie, because he's grappling with this very bizarrely humorous and morbid tone. And you're also covering death at the same time.
Yeah.
But I think the way that he approaches it, because it is ultimately a horror film, there's a lot of gruesome death in it. A big thing that I really love is actually the creativity of how the deaths play out. But that kind of shows the two spectrums of you can be sad and you can be despondent about it, but also kind of just acknowledging the gruesome reality of it in a more lighthearted way.
It's funny because in our video stinger, I say that it's kind of like an art house Final Destination, and that's exactly what it is. It has the insanely fun kills of a Final Destination movie, while also leaving you with such a strong message and such strong acting performances that you can't help but appreciate what was done. But I think that's all we can say without spoiling this movie, and trust me, we do not want to spoil it for you because you have to see this insane shit for yourself. Nikki, on a scale of 1 to 5, The Monkeys.
Wow.
What would you rate The Monkey?
Oh my gosh. I can't believe I'm saying this. This may already be one of the best films, if not the best film of the year. And for that, I have
We're
to
only
give
in February.
So I have to give it 4.5 out of 5 monkeys.
I love it, because guess what? This movie, I agree with you. This movie could, by the end of the year, this could be in contention for top 5, top 3, top 1 movies of the year. That's how good it is. Listen, it's not going to be for everyone because movies like this are not for everyone. People are squeamish. People don't like these strong visuals that this movie will have. But if you get it, if you lock in, you are really going to get it and you're really going to enjoy it like I did. So I'm giving it 4.5 monkeys out of 5 monkeys. Go see The Monkey when it comes out in theaters February 21st. You will not regret it. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a huge thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay up to date on all of our latest content. If you want to check out our other movie reviews, click the link on the page. And until next time, guys, stay versed.